All right, we're recording. Hi, everyone. It's Ted from For Your Speculation. We're back. We are not podcasting, but we are going to be doing this special look back at the 73rd Oscars, the year 2000, 20 years ago. How's everybody?
Older.
Old.
Yeah.
So with me, my former co-host of the podcast, Rachel. How are you? Dealing with quarantine?
Hey everybody, yeah, I'm in like my 11th or 12th week of quarantine, but who's counting at this point? Trying to hang in as best as I can. Luckily, safe and healthy here in New York City, and looking forward to looking back at the year 2000 with all of you. It's great to see all of your faces. This is kind of the year, I feel like, one I know I started really digging deep in around 2001.
I was already on the website, I think. Or
Yes.
just about to get on it. Yeah.
The one that shall not be named. Anyway, our frequent guests are here. Erik, Cesco, Matt. How are you all doing?
Great. I'm Glenn Close's nose.
Good. I'm the only one without a virtual background, but I think it looks good enough, especially Cesco's favorite movie.
You should have picked something.
No.
Fight.
That's an anti-LGBTQ hate crime.
But I got A Star Is Born right there, and Beyonce and the Spice Girls dolls. So I think I'm well represented.
Is he,
Okay, Kate Blanchett.
Are we introducing ourselves?
Go ahead.
Oh. Hi, it's me, Erik Anderson of Awards Watch. And yes, Rachel, we're at the 20th year of knowing each other, which is kind of mind-blowing. I know we all are kind of slightly different age ranges, so I've always felt like everybody was like my kids because I was older than everybody, and I've gotten to watch everyone kind of grow up in a weird way right in front of me, and it's been awesome, and I love coming back and doing podcasts with you guys so much, and I love that we're doing this version of them, which we could have been doing almost really at any time, but it took a pandemic for us to be all face to face with each other like this. And yeah, I'm excited to kick off what I hope is a really good long series for us to do, and this is a perfect year for it.
Exactly. And so what we're going to be doing first is talk a little bit about the Oscar race from the year 2000, looking back at specifically the top 6 categories, looking at the films of that year that got little to no Oscar love that we still hold dear in our hearts. And then we're going to play a trivia game based on some of the nominees from that year and some of the other things that were connected to that year. So that's a little taste of that before we move on to that. So we're going to start with lead actor. And the winner in this category was Russell Crowe, which I don't think any of us would vote for, right?
The whole movie, really.
I watched Gladiator for the first time in preparation for this podcast. It was the only one of the 5 Best Picture nominees that I had never seen. And my avoidance was basically based solely on, I know this is not my type of movie and it really has nothing to offer me, but I wanted to be well-versed and do my homework for this. And also it checked off picture and actor. It would have been a little hard for me to be part of the discussion without having seen 2 of the 6 major winners. And no surprise, I thought it was kind of garbage. I also did not predict Russell Crowe back in the day when I originally predicted my winners. I predicted Tom Hanks for this category.
Yeah, I was because I was predicting Hanks too, and as I was looking back at the year, the only precursor award that Russell Crowe won that year was the BFCA, the Critics' Choice Award. So a lot of people were split down the middle between both of Tom Hanks and Russell Crowe. So it's interesting that Crowe made it all the way.
Yeah,
But
he got
precursors
dragged
didn't matter
in.
as much.
Yeah, he got dragged in with the film's kind of sweeping wins across the board leading up to that. And of course, we're talking about 2000, which was a very different year
Yeah.
with BAFTA Oscar correlation and long lists and when things aired. It's very different. So all those things always have to be taken into consideration of how the path really is.
And also what was happening during that time period, because two things that happened during that year that I completely forgot about until I revisited a lot of the books from that time. One is the fact that he broke up Meg Ryan's marriage with Dennis Quaid. I completely forgot about that whole thing. And the rumors between him and Nicole Kidman. So he was, dealing with that. And then the other thing is, I don't know if any of you remember, he was also, apparently there was a kidnapping plot against him that had to have extra security. And at the show itself, Steve Martin acknowledged it by saying that the suspect was Tom Hanks.
I don't know. I think it was all just like underground promo for Proof of Life. But that's my theory.
Did you guys predict Crowe originally?
Yes,
I did.
Yeah,
but just on the strength of the film, which I hate, but it became very apparent towards the end that it was gonna like sweep, and yeah.
It's also looking back on it. If Hanks had won, first of all, he already had 2, and 3 is a very rare club to be in. But also, it is not common for a Best Actor winner to come from a film that isn't beloved across the board. That is very common in Best Actress.
Mm-hmm.
But Castaway was not the juggernaut that Gladiator was. But it was quite interesting turning on this movie. It's the first time I've ever seen it. It was kind of exactly what I thought it was going to be. But, all those scenes in the Coliseum, watching them now in the middle of this pandemic, and I'm just thinking all those people crammed into that space, screaming and spitting on each other.
Yeah, but their hygiene back then was already garbage, so.
Yeah, life expectancy was like, what, 35 years old?
Exactly, yeah.
But there was, I had the closed captioning on, and about 5 minutes into the movie, there's directions that just say, like, men continue shouting. And I screen capped it and I said, that's the entire movie.
That's the synopsis for the movie, yeah.
That's the synopsis for the movie.
That's the synopsis for, like, America and Twitter.
America is also 90% of Best Pictures.
That's amazing, Rachel.
Yeah. I'll share the it's a picture of my TV screen with my phone. It's not even a real screenshot, but I just thought this is what I'm in for. But it definitely also does not pass the Bechdel test.
No.
Wow.
No.
Yeah.
It's a bad movie, very much in the vein of Braveheart. And Braveheart didn't need to win twice, but it did. So yeah.
This category also I feel like had a couple of surprises on nomination morning. I think Michael Douglas and Jamie Bell would have been the 2 people likely to get in who ended up missing.
Right.
And Ed Harris for Pollock. That was, I think, quite a surprising nomination.
Pollock was much stronger, though, than anybody could have imagined.
Yeah,
more than Bardem. That was the bigger surprise. And Hanks obviously made it in on the strength of his own name, and it was a hugely successful film too. But it is still so strange that as a film it wasn't able to get in other places, and it was just, for him. Obviously it wouldn't get any other acting nominations, but it does sort of feel like he kind of, not that he took something from somebody else, but that actors love that he did the whole weight gain and loss and and that, you know, they stopped production and then came back later and did more. And that was, you know, that's compelling for an acting branch.
I wonder if Castaway happened now and he gave that same performance now, if he would have been snubbed, because in some ways it seems like the love affair has died down a little bit.
Well, look at how long it took for him to get another nomination. He had been snubbed. This was his last nomination until
Right.
This year.
This year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it would have. But yeah, Jamie Bell.
Was sound mixing, but you're right. Like it's surprising that it didn't, you know, land in film editing or visual effects or, you know, anything else. And I think a lot of that is I rewatched it recently. The scenes off the island are not. It's still Robert Zemeckis. So
Yeah.
and a lot of, especially when he comes back, 20-year-old spoiler, the scenes with Helen Hunt aren't particularly great.
Come on. I have to stay on brand.
Ouch.
Matt, what were your thoughts on Best Actor?
Well, the only thing I thought of as I was like looking through things is Benicio del Toro won the SAG in lead, and so I wonder who would have won if he not been nominated, number one. And then also the next year, if Crowe would have still won for A Beautiful Mind. So I think that really threw the award stuff off for 2 years because of that.
Yeah.
Because like at BAFTA, Jamie Bell won. And so even though Gladiator won the most out of BAFTA, it's super interesting that both BAFTA and SAG pretty much were non-factors in the Best Actor race.
SAG did that thing where they switched category placement, and they still do that, and it tends to mess up predictions. But the BAFTA with Jamie Bell was really it's just kind of like an indicator of how much the award has changed over the years.
Yes.
Because back then this could happen that the guy that wins doesn't get even nominated.
Right. Especially the homegrown love for the Brits.
Right.
Yeah, the leaning to that was much heavier than it is now.
Right.
SAG, if we are saying that Del Toro doesn't count because he's in the wrong category, SAG only matched 1 for 4 this year.
Yeah. So for argument's sake, to jump from what Matt was saying, if Del Toro was not in supporting, and I don't know who we then would put in the 5th, do you think Albert Finney then would be a likely winner? Possible winner?
Oh, yeah. I definitely think that.
Yeah, me too.
Although, didn't he not show up anywhere? Like, didn't he not go to any award ceremonies? I wonder if that would have affected anything.
No.
So we're talking about so if Del Toro had been lead at the Oscars, would have been the front runner for supporting actor.
Yeah.
So the other nominees in that category were
Jeff Bridges, Willem Dafoe, Joaquin Phoenix,
and Albert Finney.
And Del Toro. But yeah, now I'm trying to think who would replace him.
I would say Finney or Phoenix probably, just because of how well the movies did outside of that category. Yeah.
Well, I thought he was awesome.
Phoenix was not good in Gladiator at all.
He's so bad.
He was so bad.
Yeah.
And also, maybe it could have potentially saved us from here. I don't know. This is a really good alternate. I would love to do like an alternate Oscar history. Where Del Toro wins in lead this year, and then Crowe is the far and away front runner for A Beautiful Mind next year, which prevents Denzel winning for Training Day. Does Halle win by herself without, the moment of the 2 lead Black acting winners? Oh, there's so much we can discuss with that.
And Sidney Poitier right there as the honorary. And it's a lot. It's a lot.
And in still A Beautiful Mind is probably the best picture front runner for the following year. So there's still that actor picture correlation. Russell Crowe still threw the phone at that person. That still happens.
gotta stay for next time.
Russell Crowe, to me, almost has the trajectory of an actress because he had the like 3 or 4 years of being really hot with the Academy and getting every movie and headlining all these things, and then just kind of dropped off the face.
Well, they realized that it was impossible to work with, and he had already won at that point. So
Yeah.
But that doesn't traditionally affect men the way it affects women in Hollywood.
traditionally, no. But I think the reputation that he built, like over the next couple of years, just kind of doomed him.
Which is also interesting because Master and Commander got so many nominations and a few wins, and they didn't even bother with him. And then also Cinderella Man got a few things too.
Yeah, they definitely dumped
they were
him.
done with him really quickly. Yeah.
And you got to remember too, the year before this was The Insider, which also did really well, and it was an amazing performance by him. And you know, they've got these 3 years in a row with him, and obviously they weren't looking into the future, but it's too bad because of those 3, he's easily the best in The Insider.
Right. And also, he's not American, so they were not going to try as hard to redeem him. I don't think. They just moved on to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Reminds me almost of, I mean, she just won again this year, so it might not really be fair, but almost a Zellweger trajectory, where it was just like nomination, win, and then, I mean, he was nominated for Beautiful Mind, but then kind of the bottom fell out.
Although I feel like she had a little more agency in terms of taking a break and just deciding I'm not going to work, or I'm just going to work sort of like on things that interest me, like, and take longer breaks in between. Whereas with him, it really became a situation of nobody wants to work with me anymore because they're afraid I'm going to kill them. So yeah.
Yeah. Is this the most that we've ever talked about male acting nominees? What are we doing?
We just lingered into Zelda.
Wow.
Is everybody okay with Benicio winning? Because it's such a nothing performance for me.
Oh, he's
I'm an actor that I like otherwise very much.
It's just a representative win of the film
For Traffic.
And I'm not a fan of the win at all. I would have rather seen Dafoe or Finney.
Right.
Easily.
Right. Yeah.
But it's better than Phoenix.
I didn't rewatch anything. As I said, I watched Gladiator for the first time. And when we talk about actress, I watched one of those films for the first time, but I didn't rewatch anything. So I don't think I've seen Traffic since like I originally saw it when it first came out. And I thought maybe I was a little young for it when it came. I was still in school during the 2000 Oscar year. So it might be, if you guys like it, it might be worth a revisit. But if you don't like it, then maybe not.
I do not care for it.
For Traffic.
I'm fine with Benicio winning. Like, it's not a very strong category, so I would be fine with him having an Oscar.
I'm
sure.
Dare you right now, tell me the strongest supporting actor category ever. Like, it's impossible.
The strongest ever?
Yeah, it's
probably like 2012 when they were all previous winners.
Yeah.
Were they good performances?
But De Niro was.
They were actually good. I think so.
I would say I think the year with J.K. Simmons I remember being strong. It was him, Mark Ruffalo, Edward Norton, and I can't remember the other two, but I just remember that year being strong.
I'd have to go back probably to the 80s or something.
Well, this year wasn't that great. I mean, I like The Contender, but Jeff Bridges was coasting in that movie, like.
Right.
And Gary Oldman was better, but
that's
a whole story unto itself.
Were these the predicted 5 nominees in this category?
Yeah, the only one that I know that Dave Karger was like the guru at Entertainment Weekly with these predictions. He wasn't predicting Jeff Bridges. He was actually predicting Bruce Greenwood from 13 Days, which led to nothing. But his rationale, if I remember correctly, was he went with the person playing the real president versus the fake president. So.
Yeah, I remember that.
But yeah, I'm fine with Del Toro's win. I rewatched Traffic earlier this year. I remember it being better, and so I'm still reviewing the other movies from this year. But yeah, I was really impressed with Willem Dafoe. I finally saw Shadow of the Vampire last year, and I really liked his performance.
I would have voted for him.
I think he's amazing in it because it's an almost impossible struggle to do what he did in it, because so much of it is an impersonation of something that already exists in film canon. But I mean, just as a movie, being able to have him exist outside of the Nosferatu character is genius, and he's just so fucking good.
And I think he's somebody that is so close to winning an Oscar now, especially the past few years with Florida Project, Eternity's Gate, Lighthouse. Like, I feel like they're like just waiting to give him one.
That's the who we can work on next from what we were talking about before we start recording.
I know we usually care about actresses, but he's in that group too.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. I wonder if part of the reason why they sort of like went with someone else is that Martin Landau had won for a very similar kind of like role in Ed Wood, and they were sort of like, we already did this, and you're good, but no thanks. Yeah. It was fairly recent at that point, so yeah.
I think the minute Del Toro won the SAG and lead actor, though, it was almost impossible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just like Jennifer Connelly the next year.
Done deal. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's move on to supporting actress. What a thrill.
Oh, I was going to say, was there a supporting actor that people would have thrown a nomination to who did not get in?
We'll talk about that in the next roundup of films and performances that we missed. Okay. So, but yeah, supporting actress, Marcia Gay Harden in a big upset.
One of my favorite wins ever.
Yeah. I remember when they were sort of announcing the nominees that night, and they showed her clip, and I was like, she really should win for this. And how good she was, and then there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I did not predict I thought I honestly I had her in probably 4th or 5th.
Yeah, I definitely had not watched Pollock when I watched the Oscars that year. So I was definitely rooting for Kate Hudson, thinking she was gonna win. And when they showed the clips, I was just like, who the hell is that? I hope she wins, actually. And especially Kate Hudson's clip was very very surprising, and it's just a testament to Sony Pictures Classic really handled that campaign well to get her the win and Ed Harris the nomination. I think that was really impressive. And
Hudson really had the perfect traditional recipe for a supporting win.
Right.
Young, blonde ingenue, daughter of Hollywood, breakout role, but the film overall, I think, really underperformed.
Yeah.
Very much.
Very much. Definitely. And that should have been an indicator probably, but yeah. And
especially because she couldn't, after the Golden Globe win, she couldn't get anything else. She lost the SAG to Judi Dench for Shuffle, which was, I mean, I went back to double check. It was right after she lost her husband, which I get, like, they were sympathetic and all, and SAG didn't give her the win for Shakespeare in Love, but that's ridiculous.
Yeah, but SAG, because it's such a younger entity, and certainly was at that time, it was only 5 years old.
Right.
Yeah.
Tons of awards came through for older actors because there was never an opportunity to give them anything before. So we saw this so much. Not as much anymore, but we saw it for like 10 years.
Yeah, Robert Duvall winning for A Civil Action, Kathy Bates winning for Primary Colors. Yeah.
Gloria Stewart.
Yeah.
My dad's office had an Oscar pool for 2000, which he let me fill out for him, and I filled out Marcia in supporting actress, but I don't remember what my rationale was in my 17-year-old still. Considering I think Hudson, despite the SAG loss, would have been considered a fairly strong front runner in that category. But
Let's go with Marcia Gay Harden. What was her biggest role before this? Like, what would people have known her from? Like, she really wasn't very well known.
No, at all.
Coen Brothers movies, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Because I remember reading that she was in Martin Fink or the Hudsucker Proxy, one of those 90s ones.
First Wives Club.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In Meet Joe Black.
And Miller's Crossing.
Miller's Crossing, that's the one.
Was the one.
She really got in with only one big critics win, right?
Yeah.
Nothing else.
And that was interesting because she got nominated at the Spirit Awards, and she won New York in supporting when at the time they were still campaigning her in lead. So
she
yeah. I don't know. I don't remember the politics of the time, but I can't imagine that she was a very strong possibility for a win despite the SAG, because she had just won 2 years before. But
no, it was very much a "We Love You" nomination, and this movie we really liked. So there you go. But yeah.
Well, I don't know if it was a "We Love You" nomination as much as it was the height of the Weinstein machine powers.
Right. Yeah.
More than anything, because I mean, you look at the list, you're at the Best Picture list, and you're like, one of these things does not look like the others.
Yeah, I rewatched Chocolat 2 days ago, and
oh God,
why?
It's okay. It's a fun little trifle of a movie, but it has doesn't belong in this race at all.
It's such a weird movie in so many different ways. It's a weird story. The chemistry between the two lead characters is super off. It's plotting and kind of like oddly paced. It's just such a weird film.
Yeah.
Just really, really bizarre film. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just surprised that it picked up so many like nominations also leading up to it. Like the ensemble nomination at SAG was really, like, again, that's Weinstein for you, because
yeah
it is, but I mean it's not that much of a surprise. It does stand out because of its quality. It doesn't stand out to me because of campaigning, because the campaigning was there.
Right. But it wasn't like a huge crowd pleaser. It didn't make a lot of money. So it's one of those things where if it was a big money maker in the winter time and everyone came out gushing over it, it would have also made sense. This is purely the campaign that got it in.
Right.
This is the worst of the Weinstein era Best Picture nominees, right?
I'd have to.
Other than like The Reader, maybe.
The Reader is the worst.
That's the worst. Is that really still the peak era? I guess.
Yeah.
And technically,
all the 2000s, like mid 90s to high 2000s.
So The Reader is the worst.
But The Reader is Weinstein Company, not Miramax. So Miramax at its height would be like Cider House Rules and Chocolat.
Yes.
Yeah, another terrible movie. Yeah.
Cider House
Rules. I'm glad we didn't start with 1999, because this would be like a 6-hour podcast.
But Chocolat's worse than Cider House Rules.
Yeah.
Yeah. But who was, so I guess speaking of The Reader, Kate Winslet was the other likely nominee in this category who was squeezed out.
Yes. Yeah.
For Quills.
Yeah, her and Catherine Zeta-Jones, who got a Globe nod for Traffic.
I would have loved that nomination. I love her in Traffic.
She was probably the best thing about the movie. Probably, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But Marcia Gay Harden also got in with basically nothing for Mystic River when she got in. So
At that point, she had a lot more cred. Yeah.
As the best picture player as well, but she really got no precursor support there either.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting considering that Sony Pictures Classic had Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and Ziyi Zhang in the category, and she did do fairly well.
Yeah.
So she popped up at BAFTA. She won the Independent Spirit Award. Like, she was definitely in more precursors than Marcia Gay Harden.
She's fabulous also in Crouching Tiger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I rewatched that movie yesterday, and I was really impressed with her performance, much more than I was the first time.
She's great. Yeah.
It's interesting to see what holds up better than other things, but also too, you know, depending on the age each of us were when we saw it, and then what our world knowledge was, and what our film knowledge was at the time.
Right.
I do think Gladiator doesn't hold up, and I don't think it held up at the time either. It was a regressive, weird throwback. It was so strange that it even existed on the level that it did.
Yeah.
I think Crouching Tiger holds up extremely well.
I know that we sometimes say that, like, the political landscape also informs the Oscars. So
it always does.
Oscars takes place after the infamous 2000 election between Bush and Gore. So how that played out as well into Gladiator becoming the front runner.
Well, it certainly had an impact on the 2016 race.
Right.
For sure.
Right.
Matt, you were the youngest of us all. How old were you, and which of these movies did you watch that year?
That's why I said this year was going to be so hard, because I was 10 years old at the time.
Go home.
Okay, I'm leaving. Bye.
Yeah, I guess what I do remember about that year, I just remember Gladiator being a very popular movie. So I understand its box office success, but I just don't feel like it would happen nowadays that such a big box office film would then carry over to becoming the best picture frontrunner. I just don't think that would happen nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was the I believe when I read the number 2 biggest movie of the year, which is surprising. That, I mean, I guess it had the summer all to itself, but
it was before all the Marvel movies.
Mission Impossible, yeah, no kidding. Ugh.
I mean, it's just, I know there are people who like this movie. It's just not an original story, and I feel like it's of an era. That's, Erica, feeding off of what you said about it being from a different era. It felt like it was from an era when people were taught and believed that white male stories were the only stories that mattered and were therefore the only ones worth being told. So watching it now, seeing what's going on in this country and in this world, it did not resonate with me at all.
And not only that, you have you tell a story from this age and era, and just by virtue of history, you only have good roles for white actors. Right. Anyone that's a black actor, they're going to be a slave. They're going to be somebody the opportunity isn't there. So stories like this feel extremely dated because they are extremely dated. You can only, without a complete and total revisionist history version, which can be really, really, really fun and really great to do, you can't tell a story like this without, raising white actors up and giving any actor of color the worst role.
Giving Simon Hansu a slave role. Yep.
Again.
So looking at Best Director, this was a interesting. It was crazy because, Steven Soderbergh won all the critics awards, and then as soon as we hit the televised awards, Ang Lee took them all, and then it went back to Soderbergh. Were any of you predicting? I know, Rachel, we talked offline that you predicted Soderbergh. I was predicting Ang Lee because I didn't think it was going to revert back because I thought that they were still too split between Traffic and Erin Brockovich.
I predicted Soderbergh, but at that point, I thought a lot less about the mechanics that go behind it. So I was like, they nominated him twice, so they must really like him, so he's going to win for one of them. Whereas now I would be like, oh my God, he's going to just split votes between himself, blah, blah, blah. So I guess being less of an Oscar maniac at that point kind of helped my prediction a little bit. Yeah.
I mean,
I can't remember what I picked. I probably picked Ang Lee.
But I predicted Soderbergh and Traffic for Best Picture because up until recently, very recently, far too recently, I really refused to ever predict splits.
Mm-hmm. Fair.
Yeah. That's a good point because this was not the era of being able to predict a split.
Right.
And I think anyone, though, even with Soderbergh's double nomination, I don't think a lot of people were realistically looking at it as him splitting his own vote because clearly Traffic was the directorial effort and the stronger film, and Brockovich already had Roberts as an easy call winner. So I don't think I'm trying to remember, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think it would have been something where I'd say Soderbergh couldn't win because he was going to split. But Ang Lee was pushing his way all the way through.
Well, if he had won, he could have potentially had 3 Best Director wins for non-Best Picture winners, which, again, on Matt's alternate Oscar history, had he won this year, maybe he wouldn't have won for either Brokeback or Life of Pi. I mean, we'll never know.
I think he still would have won for Brokeback. Maybe Spielberg would have won Lincoln instead of Pi winning. But I still think he was.
That year was so bizarre.
Yeah, I can't wait to get to that shit whole year. That was bananas.
I'm ready.
That was crazy.
So say that would be Spielberg's second split win too, because he didn't win. Saving Private Ryan didn't win.
Yeah.
It's true.
So the big snub here, Cameron Crowe.
He got nominated at DGA.
Yeah.
And missed here. Daldry was the surprise.
Daldry was huge.
Yeah.
Surprise. And began his reign of terror here.
But this is his deserved.
This is the deserved nomination.
Yeah.
His reign of terror.
I love this though. I love lone director nominations, and we really can't get a whole lot of that anymore because of the expanded lineup. We've had one lone director nomination since the expanded lineup. So I loved this. I loved, David Lynch getting in. I love when this would happen. And it wasn't that it was because it was hard to call, but it was just most of the time the choices were really, really inspired choices because the directing branch was so willing to break from the precursor path. So I love this nomination because I love this movie so much, but it's one of the really cool ones.
It's interesting though that Gladiator ended up being such a front runner for Best Picture, but Ridley Scott did not become any kind of competitor in this race at all. It was Lee versus Soderbergh the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me would indicate a sign of weakness, but it ended up in Best Picture. So
it's what she deserves, Doc. Yeah.
Okay, so before we end with Best Picture, let's go to Actress, our favorite category.
And all right, guys, ready? Stretch first.
I don't think Juliette Binoche belongs here, but overall, just looking at the actresses nominated, it's a decent lineup, but obviously there were better ones, and we're going to get to them in a bit. But I think it was hard to deny Julia the coronation of Julia Roberts as Best Actress.
Okay.
Oh, uh-oh.
I don't know. The movie came out in like what, February or March? And
Yeah.
she was the front runner the entire year. I do not recall anything like this happening before or after. It was really a testament to how much they sort of like wanted this to be sort of like her crowning kind of achievement, but also like how much the movie stuck in people's heads.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, I think, by many considered like her sort of like big sort of like role, the role that made her an actress, quote unquote. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was absolutely a coronation and a crowning from the day that it opened.
Right.
And we do see those kind of things sometimes, like Anne Hathaway or Gary Oldman, where you know back in March what's going to happen.
Right.
But and I don't begrudge Robert's win here at all. I'm just teasing and having fun because I love Ellen Burstyn so much.
Right.
But it's really rare that you see somebody that is such a mega star, and certainly at the time still a humongous box office draw, because this was a really big box office hit too, that gets the role that is the convergence of literally every single one of their talents at the same time and all of their appeal at the exact same time. It's so rare, because this capitalized on how funny she was, or is, and how beautiful, and her dramatic chops, and a real life person role. I mean, the deck was stacked so heavily in her favor.
Yeah.
But she delivered on every single possible level. So
it's an absolutely fantastic.
There's no way to begrudge it at all, realistically.
You said it even better than I could. It's a fantastic win, and the Academy has such a long history of rewarding movie stars for not their best work just because of Sandra Bullock is actually the example I was thinking of.
Kate Winslet.
In keeping with someone who has had somewhat of a Julia type career, but this is Al Pacino's another one. Oh my God!
There's so many.
Yeah, there's so many. This is not in that category at all.
Yeah.
And there's other wonderful performances and wonderful actresses in this category, but in terms of the Academy choosing to reward someone kind of at the peak of their career, not the peak of their skills, this is a great pick. And the performance really stands up, I think. The movie really stands up.
It does. I've actually watched this more recently before, we were going to start doing this, and it absolutely holds up.
Oh yeah.
It's a really good movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely one that's also just like very enjoyable to watch, and whenever it's on, I'm just like transfixed to like, oh, here's Julia doing her thing, and I gotta stop and pay attention
because she's a star, and that's also like that's a skill, and that charisma and that innate watchability. I mean, that is
you don't learn that in acting school.
Yeah, you either have that or you don't, and that's what makes her Julia Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
And people, I think she's had nominations in 4 consecutive decades.
And I was going to say, I think it's also held up, like it's really lasted the test of time because it still is on TV a lot. People still make memes about it. So it's really stood the test of time, and it's like a legendary win.
Yeah. This was when, let's see, 99, 2000, 2001. So I was managing video stores in Northern California at this time, and we always had really big Oscar parties. And so I would always dress up as somebody from that year. And this year I did Erin Brokovich, and it was so much fun. So I was Erik Brockovich at this, and I have one picture floating around, and it's on my Facebook, and you can see it, but it's kind of fuzzy and far away, but it was the most fun costume ever, because I'm like, let me find the sluttiest see-through leopard print blouse. Let me find the shortest black leather skirt. I had to make the wig, which was super difficult, but Lord, it was so much fun.
Basically another Monday.
It kind of was, yeah. But
You walked around saying they're called boobs, Ed.
you know what? Okay, this is how stupid I was, because I was not like, I drag her very much. And I wanted to make like boobs. So I shaved my chest and I took duct tape. Don't ever do this, but I took actual duct tape and I duct taped my chest from each side in and gave myself massive cleavage. And it worked really, really well. But taking the tape off was the most horrifying thing ever. But it was a great costume and I won, so yeah.
That's so great. Oh, I would have hoped that you would have wanted that. I have a really special memory of this movie because, so it was rated R and I was not yet 17. My parents were pretty strict about that kind of stuff, but my mom wanted to see it too. So we actually, she came with me and it was like one of the first, I think, rated R movies that I ever got to see in a theater. So
Cool.
I'm young.
It's a
Not
good
as
one.
young as math though.
Rachel, you saw You Can Count on Me for the first time today, right?
Oh, yes, I did. I actually
Aw.
did it like 20 minutes before I signed on for the Zoom because we picked this year without really researching how few of these movies are available for streaming for free. I know all of us actually spent a good hard-earned $3 on Gladiator if we ended up watching it. But You Can Count on Me is actually free on Prime right now.
Yeah.
So I there were a couple of others that I was looking to watch that I hadn't seen yet, but this was the one that was readily available, and I loved it. I thought it was great. And I was hesitant because I hate Manchester by the Sea.
Me too.
So
Me too.
yeah, but I really liked this one.
It's the beginning of the Laura Linney mental
are
brother
better
trilogy.
than the final product, and You Can Count on Me. There's like good performances. The script is interesting, and then the movie, like as a whole, it's okay. I don't know why.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I feel like that one too is another one. I think the Lifetime used to play it all the time, and so I feel like I've seen it multiple times, like just bits and pieces of it, just for that reason.
I think Lonergan's scripts are not as accessible as the performances are. The performances do a lot of heavy lifting for me with a lot of his films. And I know a lot of people will disagree with that, and I don't care.
He writes for the stage. He doesn't write for the screen. So I feel as though regardless of what ends up happening in the movie, the sort of like the theatricality of the script kind of like ends up taking over. Even if the performances are really good, even if it's staged well, there's always something a little off.
And I think sometimes a lot of his stuff would just simply work better on the stage.
Right.
I could see the scene in Manchester with Michelle Williams and Casey Affleck having that big scene and how awful she is. I think she's terrible in it.
Same.
And it's mostly just the cutting and the framing is so odd. If this was just a single take on a stage with just those two and from an audience point of view looking at them, I think it would be very different. And I think a lot of his stuff would be different that way because it's really intimate, and film doesn't always provide the right venue for that kind of intimacy.
He doesn't have the eye for it. Yeah. So agreed. Yeah.
I was mainly curious, to see another actress contender. This was Linney's first nomination.
Mm-hmm.
Still no wins for Miss Laura.
And she was really part of the triumvirate that year. It was really Roberts, Burstyn, and Linney. And everybody knew that Julia was going to win, but it was very much a case of like, if she wasn't in this, who would win between Burstyn and Linney? Yeah. It was a very strong category.
Yeah. Now we see as Ellen Burstyn being the most likely number 2. She won the Independent Spirit Award. and it's just it's hard to describe that performance. It's so
she was the best. She was the best one in the lineup. I would have voted for Julia, but she was the best one in the lineup.
Yeah, but Laura Linney actually won more critic awards than Ellen Burstyn, which was interesting.
I think the issue with Burstyn was also the category sort of placement, sort of ambiguity. The fact that a lot of people felt that she was supporting in the movie, and it's one of those instances where I really don't have an opinion. I would have been okay either way, and I think she would have probably won in supporting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's sort of like a missed opportunity for the movie in that sense, because she would have been a much stronger contender in a different category. But I definitely also see the case behind her being the lead in that film more than Connolly is, I think. And also the performance is so unhinged. It really kind of leaves its mark regardless of sort of like screen time.
Yeah, and I just honestly, just the actual nomination itself was a triumph, because I don't think it, Ellen Burstyn or not, I don't think it would have gotten in without the huge critical push. It's the type of performance that gets in because it gets lifted by the critical push, because it's so ugly and degenerate and awful, and all the other elements of the movie that you have to get through visually to be able to watch her performance.
Right.
That's a lot. I'm sure there were plenty of voters who never even watched it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, this is a good time to change my screen.
I haven't seen it. I think I'm too young and innocent to watch the movie.
Well,
I think it was my favorite movie of that year.
I'm scared to watch it.
And that was, I think, also a potential drawback for being rated NC-17.
Yeah.
And that's why.
Okay.
Wait. Whoop, there we go. There we go. Spoilers without context.
Yikes.
Yeah, I got an Ellen one too, but I had to pop that in there.
This scene is what won Jennifer Connelly the Oscar the following year.
It's impressive that she was able to, because of this, honestly.
But specifically this scene at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Cover your eyes, Rachel. Don't look at it.
And she was so great in this film. She is great. It's probably the best she's ever been in anything that I've seen of her.
Switch background to something that's from this year, but a little bit more my speed.
I have that too. It's on my list for this. I have it too.
So, do we have anything else to say about the best picture lineup? I mean, we already dogged on Gladiator. We already, spoke really well about Erin Brokovich. Crouching Tiger. Any other? I mean, it was the big foreign film that hit the 10 nominations. That would be the most until Roma came along.
It was a breakthrough.
I mean, each foreign film, I think, chipped to the point till we got to Parasite,
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. Yeah. And if you look at them, really sort of different genres being recognized also. And I'm over the moon in terms of Parasite winning and everything, but I feel as though Crouching Tiger would have been a very deserving winner that year. As well, there was I think it was too early for that to happen in the history of the Academy for sort of that to happen. And also as a genre movie, it would have been probably even harder. Yeah.
I would have voted for it.
Yeah, I would have too, but it's also a great example of not just with the Film Academy, but with the United States in general. If you are not white, you have to do 10 times more to get on the same playing field as something super basic.
And you get one chance.
And you get one chance at it, yeah. And Crouching Tiger did everything possible. Massive box office hit. The 10 nominations, precursors, it did everything possible. And still, fell short of those top
And it's another example of a film that didn't get acting nominations because, you know, they didn't want to recognize Asian actors or don't know.
To learn their names. That's
the single I think most underrepresented sort of like within the acting nominees, the most underrepresented ones are probably like Asian performers. So yeah.
It probably doesn't hurt if the list is alphabetical that, you know, they were largely at the bottom of the list too.
Right.
Yeah, because Michelle Yeoh also got a BAFTA nomination, which I'm really happy that happened. But, you know, she could have displaced Binoche. Come on.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll never begrudge any sort of like support.
Kristen Dunst could have displaced her.
Or Virgin Suicides is this year too, right?
Yeah, she had.
Yes. What a good year.
What a great year for her. She was fabulous. So the 5 nominees, the big snubs would have been Almost Famous, and maybe Billy Elliot.
Billy Elliot, Wonder Boys.
So were people surprised by these nominations when they were announced?
No.
Well,
not really. Chocolate did well enough with the precursors.
I was still thinking that Almost Famous was going to make it all the way, but that didn't happen.
So I remember thinking that too. I wonder what this race would have been like with preferential voting.
Any race.
Yeah.
But I think largely the same, probably.
I do think Gladiator still would have won, actually. But we could have seen maybe 7 or 8. We already mentioned probably.
Oh, absolutely. In terms of nominees, absolutely. Yes.
Probably we're Almost Famous and Billy Elliot. We'll never know. But Daldry's nomination leads me to believe it must have been pretty close.
6 or 7. Yeah.
Yep. There were a lot of really good films that we talked about in our chat leading up to this. The winner of this year does not really reflect that it was still a strong year at the cinema.
Yeah, but I think a lot of, based on its box office at the time, the American general public would probably disagree and think that it's, it was a great win because it was such a big film. Because a lot of people think that the Oscars are or should be like People's Choice Awards and the biggest films should win. When things like Hurt Locker and Moonlight win that make, a small amount of money by comparison, people are like, nobody saw that. Why would it win? This is stupid.
3 or 4 years ago, I would have said this wouldn't happen today, but then Green Book won. So
yeah,
it would.
We were on such a great trajectory, and then what the fuck happened?
Progress is rarely a straight line.
Right.
That is true.
I'll take a Green Book win if it means that stuff like Moonlight wins too.
Yeah, exactly. And Parasite. And even Shape of Water, because that's a weird fucking movie.
Yeah.
That's not a movie that wins.
Yeah.
I think Parasite probably would not have won if Roma had won.
Well, Roma had to happen for Parasite to have happened. I think that's big. I mean, Cuarón winning for Roma, that's the first director to win for a film that's not in the English language. I mean,
right, but if it had won Best Picture, I mean, I don't think it would have been Roma followed by Parasite.
I think it could have been because Parasite did not have the stigma of Netflix behind it. It had a legitimate
distributor
case, and it was a massive box office hit, and that's a big deal for the Academy. Still, they need bona fides.
But also, Parasite is a stone cold masterpiece.
Fucking A, it is.
I loved it so much.
Yeah.
I love that movie so much.
Yeah.
So good.
So other movies or performances from this year that we were rooting for, I'm
gonna change my background again.
I'm gonna stick up for Chicken Run. I think it was a hilarious movie. I'm glad the Globes recognized it. Oh my god. Speaking of how.
Nice. I have that track in Animal Crossing and I wear it all the time.
Oh my god.
no, I mean, you can't discuss the Oscars of 2000 without
I love you, Rachel.
this moment. This is a moment, one of the greatest red carpet moments in history.
And Bjork was so good in that movie. So
God.
good.
Yeah, when I think about the things that and people that didn't get in, and
Yeah.
and then you have Juliette Binoche.
It's hard for me to sort of like talk shit about her because she is such an amazing actress.
I love her.
And I don't think she's bad in Chocolat. It's just the role is such a weird, bizarre, unwieldy kind of. It's just the character itself is just a character that doesn't exist in real life.
I just don't think it represents her. I don't think her win doesn't represent her as an actress. So Binoche is awesome.
I'm happy she has one because opportunities for foreign actresses to make a dent like that are almost non-existent. So, and she is really one of the greatest actresses of all time.
I totally disagree.
Period.
I mean, I totally agree completely.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
So
I just hate that her Oscar history is what it is when she has so many gorgeous, brilliant performances.
Yeah.
But Bjork, god damn it, Bjork.
I hate that movie, but Bjork is so good in it. She's so good in it. Yeah.
I've really seen Dancer in the Dark, you guys.
Wait, you've seen it?
Yes.
Oh,
I
good.
haven't seen it. You've seen it?
I've actually seen Dancer in the Dark. There's the shocker from this podcast.
I remember that era of Dogma 95.
Yes.
But, I mean, I think we mentioned some of the snubbed people in the individual category discussions. Jamie Bell, certainly.
Yeah.
Lee Zhang, certainly. Michelle Yeoh.
She never factored in the race, but I also really loved Michelle Pfeiffer in What Lies Beneath.
Yeah.
I really love her in that film, and it's kind of like a role that does not exist for actresses anymore. So every time that movie is on, it's kind of like one of those movies where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna sit down and watch it. Yeah.
Kirsten Dunst times 2.
Yes. Gabrielle Union, also bring it on.
She still looks the same age today.
It's amazing. And she'll tell you tequila and sleep, and yeah, she's got it. This was also the year of Best in Show.
Yes.
And you could cherry pick Parker Posey or Jennifer Coolidge or, I mean, almost anybody.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Fred Willard.
Yeah.
Who got critic attention for that, and it would have really livened up that category if he was there. So
yeah,
I can't deny that it's great that Julie Walters got in for Billy Elliot, but I really think the one that should have been nominated was Gary Lewis, who played his dad.
Yes.
When I rewatched it,
I was sitting on for the podcast. Yeah.
So much.
Yeah.
And
he was probably my pick for supporting actor, all in all.
Yeah. There's another performance this year that was snubbed that I think you should talk about.
Sorry?
What's
There's
this?
a performance this year in 2000 that was snubbed, and I think it's only appropriate if you talk about it.
Are we speaking of a supporting actress in a small, tiny movie?
We are. If her name were not mentioned, it would not be correct.
Lupe Ontiveros in Chuck and Buck. She did not play a maid. Her name was Beverly. It was written for a white lady. So I had not seen the movie until like years after this year. And I remember when I saw that she won National Board Review and got in at Spirit Awards, I was like, what? How did that happen? She's really good in that. And the movie is very strange, but she's definitely another favorite of mine.
Back in the day, critics were going for their favorites as opposed to like trying to predict the Oscars. So stuff like this would happen more. Where the actual deserving performance gets recognized, even if it's necessarily like famous person,
I just love Lupe so much.
I do too, and I remember when she did, get a little bit of traction, how kind of surprised, but how really thoughtful and pleased and happy she was. It was, I don't know, you just, when you put somebody like Lupe Ontiveros up against a Julia Roberts, and you look at the you know, their careers and likelihood of success and awards and stuff, something like Lupe Ontiveros getting anything is just, it's just wonderful. And she was just really sweet about it.
And I love the movie, actually.
Me too.
Yeah.
Chuck and Buck, suck and fuck.
It's so weird. It's such a weird movie. Yeah.
Oh my
it's
God.
funny because like this is 3 years after Selena, so you know, for the longest time she kept having to deal with people, you know, confusing her with the real life killer. And you know, I remember people saying like, you know, that's how good of an actress she was. She made you believe that she actually did. So.
She actually killed Jennifer Lopez.
She killed Jennifer Lopez.
Her power.
Terrible.
Any other, you know, one of my favorite films from this year that I obviously didn't see that year but saw much later was Yi, Edward Yang's film.
Yes.
Was it this year? It was eligible for these Oscars?
2000.
So
Never mind. Should have won everything.
It came out in 2000, but it was not on the Oscars eligibility list because of like when it came out technically in New York and LA, and so it wasn't eligible for anything. Which
I thought it was 1999. That's why it completely like.
And then I haven't seen this movie, but I know a lot of people really like it too. But In the Mood for Love is technically 2000.
That's my
my God.
was submitted for foreign language film, but did not make it in, but came out for American audiences in 2001. So,
yep, that was my next.
These are like masterpieces of like world film. So yeah, Spot Gladiator. Yeah.
And In the Mood for Love, I saw is streaming somewhere, so it is available. And I know that Barry Jenkins mentioned this when he talked about Moonlight during that awards time. So it's definitely one that I'm putting on my list to watch. It's high time I watched it. And so,
Rachel, your thoughts on both?
I have prepared here a thesis on each. Guys,
Okay.
I saw Dancer in the Dark.
I would. I am dying. Poor Rachel. Oh my God. I'm dying.
I'm actually going to watch. Well, you just said In the Mood for Love is streaming, so I can watch that one.
And it's short. It's like an hour and 40 minutes.
oh, perfect.
Happy to watch it, and I'll discuss my thoughts when we reconvene for 2001.
Yeah. No, it's a flat out masterpiece. And yeah, Barry Jenkins.
It's really a
this
2001
lot.
movie for me. That's when I watched it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't associate it.
Well,
with-
that's fair. Then we'll discuss it when I watch. I'll be prepared for 2001. I think I've seen. I don't know if I've seen all the movies from 2001, so I won't say that I have. But
I'm gonna have to rewatch Monsters Ball.
Do you have to?
seen Monsters Ball. But I'm the only person on the planet who has not seen any of the Lord of the Rings movies.
That's a lot of time.
Yeah, too long.
Jesus.
But we're headed into 01, 02, 03, 04. Like,
Yeah, but it's also like, what else do you got to do?
it's also a train headed that way.
Are we ready to play a game?
Oh my God.
I'm not, but okay. I'm
I don't want to.
ready to get embarrassed on national television, but yeah.
Why is our best player the moderator?
Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. This is the order we're gonna go in. We're gonna go Rachel.
No, can we just buzz? There's only 4 of us.
I know. I wish we
Is
had
it like
like
Jeopardy?
buzzers. That would be great.
Trust me, it'll be easier this way. We'll go Rachel, then Matt, then Cesco, then Erik, which works on this going this way on my screen. So,
Yes.
and each one's gonna be worth a few different points, but I'm gonna keep track of it all. So, was it good?
Oh, Lord.
So, Rachel.
Yes.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was the third film not in the English language nominated for Best Picture and Best Foreign Language Film in the same year. What were the first two?
Life is Beautiful.
Yes.
Do I get half a point?
You get 1 point for that.
Good.
What's the other one?
I know people are smirking, which means that they know it.
I don't
Not
know
necessarily.
it. I'm just laughing at the question.
So I got a point, so then I can pass it to Matt.
Yes.
Oh, so I have to answer the same question?
Yep.
Oh, I got.
All right. Cesco?
Pass to
Yeah.
Cesco, I think he knows it.
I'm torn between like a couple, but it's like, is it like from the 70s?
Little earlier than that.
Literally in that. Is it Day for Night?
No.
Hmm.
Erik?
Z.
Yep. Z in 1969 and Life is Beautiful in 1998.
And then we've had a few since after this.
Yeah, I was gonna say we've
A lot more.
All right. Question number 2. And now we're going, Rachel had the first one. Now we're going to Matt. Danny DeVito was nominated as a producer for Erin Brokovich. Previous to this nomination, he has starred in 3 Best Picture nominees and winners. What are those 3 movies?
Oh my God.
I know one.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yes.
That's the one that I knew.
And I keep thinking about Hoffa, but I know that wasn't nominated, so pass.
There's 2 other movies. Cesco.
Oh,
Best Picture winners?
Nominee or winner.
I know one of them.
No idea, pass.
Erik?
I know one of them.
Which one?
LA Confidential.
Yes.
Um,
What's the last one?
oh my God. I can't even think of movies that he's done other than like Twins and Romancing the Stone. I can't think of it.
Rachel, what is the last movie that we're
Yeah, I didn't know the first 2 either.
Come on, Rachel, you can do it.
So the third film.
Oh my God, I know.
What is it?
What is it?
I no. Is it Terms of Endearment?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Okay, yeah.
Good job.
I forgot about. Wow.
Because I've seen it fairly recently, and I was but I was stuck on like Best Picture nominee, and yeah.
All right, so
that's-
Cesco, you're next in line for question
go.
number 3.
Okay.
The best lead actress lineup for this year was the 18th consecutive lineup that featured our favorite statistic, one actress as the sole nominee from her movie. The streak ended in 2005. Who were the sole nominees from their films in 2004 when the streak ended?
What the fuck? I'm like, I hate obvious questions that I just
Oh
like
my
on.
God.
So the acting lineup is from 2004.
Best actress lineup. From
Best
both.
actress.
Was that was the Hillary Swank year?
Okay, yeah.
Was it the year of Charlize?
2004 is the best picture year of $1 Million Baby.
Oh gosh.
I know it.
I just
I might actually know this one.
Wait a minute.
Was
Repeat the question
Oh, I
exactly. The last part.
Who were the sole nominees from their film? There's 2 of them. In the final lineup in 2004?
This is 2004. Oh my god.
I know it now.
I know too.
How many were there? Can you tell me
There were
that?
2 nominees who were the sole nominees from their film.
I thought there was 3, but okay. That's right. Okay.
It's for 2 foreign films, right? Or, well, 2 non-American films, right?
One is
Catalina, right?
Catalina Sandino Moreno.
Oh wait, Deirdre got screenplay, I think. Oh my god, who else?
I love your.
Oh, was it Annette?
Annette Bening.
It was?
Yeah. Good
Gotcha.
job.
Hillary versus Annette. Redux.
I almost said Imelda, but then didn't it get something
Director.
We
else?
also got director.
Director. I thought screenplay. Okay, yeah.
I love your degree.
I do
Yeah.
too. Another good director nomination.
All right, Erik, your turn.
Okay.
Question number 4. BAFTA rarely goes 5 for 5 with the Oscar nominations. Who were the 2 actresses who got BAFTA nominations this year, but missed at the Oscars?
Didn't we already discussed
We've discussed one already.
Michelle Yeoh?
No.
No, Zhang Ji.
Yi Zhang, yep.
Oh God, these are always tough because of the eligibility deadline and sometimes the year.
They got BAFTA nominations but missed at the Oscars.
Yeah, supporting actress BAFTA nominations, but missed Oscar nominations.
Julie Walters got in.
I have a guess, but it's just a guess.
I'm blanking.
All right, let's move on to Rachel.
Kate Winslet.
No. Good guess.
It's not Kate Winslet?
No, it's not. Matt?
And actually, I think I know because Erik clued me in with the eligibility year. So is it Hilary Swank? Boys Don't Cry?
No. This is supporting actress.
Oh, now I even think. Oh, I don't know. Then I kept thinking. I knew it.
But
Pass.
Winslet did BAFTA then.
Cesco?
Is it a British lady?
Isn't it always?
Usually is.
Not British.
Oh, it's not British. But also Julie Walters got in at the Oscars. That's what's throwing
She
me off.
did. And it's
Yeah,
not Judi
yeah.
Dench.
Yeah.
It's not Judy. Is it Judi Dench or Maggie Smith?
Well,
Judi Dench got in.
So
Huh? Judi
Dench
Dench.
got in for Chocolat, but Maggie Smith didn't have anything that year.
What year was Tea with Mussolini?
The year before.
99,
The year before.
yeah.
Oh. This is a tough one.
I was so sure I was right.
I thought so too. I didn't hear Best Supporting Actress. I was thinking
Winslet
Best
got in at
Actress.
SAG, not at BAFTA. That's why.
I mean, Winslet's usually a good BAFTA guess anyway.
Yeah.
Are we going to kick ourselves when you tell us?
You're gonna be mad at her, maybe.
Is it Lena Olin?
Yes.
How did you get that? Because it's from Chocolat. Because because it's the Chocolat year. Yeah. Because I have my list with me of like the 2000 Oscars, like my stats, and she's in it. Yeah.
Yeah, but to Matt's point, Hilary Swank got in here, and Juliette Binoche didn't.
Yep. But we were speaking of supporting actress.
Yeah.
All right.
But that's where I was trying to like go to, and
Your question. Stephen Daldry, who we talked about, was nominated for Best Director for his debut film, Billy Elliot. Since this year, the year 2000, 5 other directors have been nominated for their directorial debuts. Name them.
Oh God, I'm not naming 5 directors. It's not gonna happen.
I got one.
I have a few,
All right,
but
I'll throw to Matt if you've got one.
Matt,
this is since 2000.
since 2000. So,
Since 2000.
yeah,
Garth Davis, is that from Lion?
was not nominated at the Oscars.
Was he not?
Only at DGA.
All right, then pass.
Just
Because
go.
I was trying to think of who won the DGA for Best First Feature, and that's the first one that came to mind.
It's a good way to go, but
Yeah.
Okay, so one is Rob Marshall.
correct.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, I know.
was Bennett Miller nominated for Capote?
Correct.
He was? Okay. Oh gosh. Oh, Ben Zeitlin, right?
Correct.
Oh, that's a good one.
Uh,
I love that movie.
2 left.
I think I know.
Dick, say it.
It's not my turn.
All right, we got to move for time. Erik,
Lenny Abramson?
incorrect.
oh,
Shoot.
Incorrect.
oh.
Ooh.
Uh,
Ooh, I thought you were right on that one.
I have others, but do I get to keep guessing?
You have one more guess because I said there's 2.
Oh. I want a clarifying question first. Do you consider Lady Bird Greta Gerwig's debut? Because I don't.
That was going to be my next guess.
Good.
We're
Let
mentioning
me knock that out.
oh, okay.
Well, Ted is the person to go for Lady Bird. He is what he says goes on Lady Bird.
Was Spotlight Tom McCarthy's?
Nope.
Fuck me then.
Station agent.
Oh God, that's right. Jesus.
So back
Okay,
to you.
Yeah.
I think once we do a full round
Oh,
robin.
Back to me?
Started with you. So the 2 that you are missing, Tony Gilroy.
Tony Gilroy, yes! Oh, yes. Yes.
And the second one that I'm really mad about is Jordan Peele.
Oh shit.
Oh,
Right after I just talked about Greta Gerwig. We're racist.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
Michael Clayton, yes.
All right. Question number 6 to Matt. And I'm going to preface, this one is hard.
Oh, great.
as opposed to all the other ones so far.
Many acting nominees come from biopics, especially in lead actor. This year, in the year 2000, they nominated 3 performances from biopics. But twice in this decade, they nominated 5 performances with all fictional characters. What are the 2 lineups?
Oh my God.
So we're looking for
The whole decade?
actor.
For the whole
look.
decade?
2000 to 2010. There's 2 lineups where it's all fictional best lead actor.
Shouldn't it really be 2000 to 2009?
Mhm.
There's, 2000, 2009, there's still 2.
Okay.
So it all
Across
happened.
categories or just best actor?
Just best actor, best lead actor.
And only best actor.
So it's 2 years in between 2001 and 2009.
Correct.
2000 to 2000.
Okay. I know one.
Was 2009 the Precious year?
2009 is the Precious year.
That's one of my guesses.
That is not correct.
All right, the best.
Morgan Freeman was nominated for playing Nelson Mandela that year.
Do I get one more guess?
You get one more guess.
Well, can I just guess a year then, and then it makes it easier for the people going after me?
Exactly.
So, no, it would be 2005. Oh, 2006.
Not 2006 because we had Idi Amin. Forrest Whitaker. Cesco.
I know.
The first Sean Penn year,
Which was?
2003.
That is
4?
correct. 2003 had no biopic nominations in lead actor.
Oh,
You get one more guess. So we knocked down 2009, 2006. We said 2003 is one. This year doesn't count.
the oh my God. The Dujardin year?
That's way after 2009.
Oh yeah. Sorry. I'll pass. I need to think about it.
Erik?
2007, Michael Clayton year again.
2007 is correct.
That's what. As soon as we start talking about that, Michael Clayton was just like, all right, cool.
All right, so we're moving on to the next question, and now we're at Cesco.
Okay.
This year was Albert Finney's first nomination in supporting actor, his 5th overall, and his final Oscar nomination. His 4 previous nominations were all for Best Lead Actor. Which 4 actors won the year that he lost?
What?
That's a lot of work. The fuck?
If you want hints,
Yes.
the first one he lost to was to a historic Best Lead Actor winner.
Lead actor.
I think I know.
I think I know one.
He was nominated for Tom Jones that year.
Oh, yeah.
De Niro?
Nope. Erik?
So we need to do all 4 of them?
Well, you get 1 point for each one you do.
Okay, I mean,
Hint for each one.
the Tom Jones year was Sidney Poitier.
Correct.
Okay, Under the Volcano. I'm trying to even remember his other nominations. Fuck. He should have won for Under the Volcano. That was really good. That was 80.
5, 4?
84?
His last one.
So that's Amadeus. So that's F. Murray Abraham.
Correct.
Oh my God, I can't think of his other nominations.
Would you like another hint?
Well, wait. Wait, the dresser. Tom Courtney.
Was the year before the one that you just
Was
said?
the year before 83, Tender Mercies, Robert Duvall.
Robert Duvall, yeah.
Fuck. What's his other nomination?
Do you want a hint?
No. Oh, fuck. I don't want to take any more time, so I'll pass. Fuck.
Rachel,
Hint.
you want the hint.
Yeah.
The year was 1974.
I think I know what movie it is.
74.
I don't even know if knowing the Best Picture winner would help. Erik knows now that I.
Well, when you give the year, it's a little bit easier, but oh god, that year, holy fuck! When you consider the winner,
Oh, okay.
no shade, but still.
Okay.
I think I know it then.
Yeah.
As in, it's a bad winner.
I don't think it's a bad winner. No,
The competition
but
was
the competition was like,
yes.
and what that year is regarded as in like film history.
For Best Actor or for Best Picture?
Well, I mean, just
Oh.
as overall as a year in film. Oh man, I got 3 out of 4. I should get like 4.
Yeah, you should get a lot of points.
Yeah.
Matt, do you know it?
Yeah.
Okay, I throw it to you.
Go for
Okay. It's Murder on the Orient Express, right? That was his nomination. And it was Art Carney.
it. Yes.
Yeah, against Jack
Jeez.
Nicholson in Chinatown.
Chinatown.
And
And
Al
fucking
Pacino.
Pacino and Dustin Hoffman and Lenny. That year is
Chinatown,
mind-blowing.
I knew he didn't win, and the question was who was the winner, and I did not know who the winner was.
Yeah. It was a mind-blowing year.
So I started this with Cesco or with Erik?
With me.
With you. So Erik, your question.
Okay.
The Golden Globes do not separate their nominations for Best Screenplay.
Yeah.
This year, Traffic won the Golden Globe for Best Screenplay, beating out Almost Famous, Wonder Boys, You Can Count on Me, and this non-Oscar nominated script.
Wait, from the Globes. We're only talking about Globes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you read the question again? Sorry.
At the Golden Globes, Traffic won Best Screenplay, beating out Almost Famous, Wonder Boys, You Can Count on Me, and this non-Oscar nominated script. It is, never mind, no hints.
So You Can Count on Me got in. Wonder Boys got in. Traffic. Almost Famous.
And then the fifth.
I think I know.
Which won original at the Oscars.
Our list.
I think I know.
Not Requiem.
I'm looking at our list that we made of movies that came out this year.
Yeah, that's what I did.
And Crouching
I think
Tiger.
I think
I should
know,
have
but I'm not
made a
sure.
list of movies. I should have made a list.
I have
I
a
mean,
guess.
I have my list from that of the Oscars of that year,
I have a guess.
but not Globes.
So I will say it's not a huge hint, but we've talked about it. This
I think I
film,
know.
We've talked
Oh,
about
we talked about it on this.
it. We've already,
Podcast.
And we've
I
talked
think
about it
I
on
know
this.
too.
we've mentioned the film already.
It's not Chocolat. It's not Dancer in the Dark. It's not Crouching Tiger. I'm just gonna go with process of elimination.
Oh, it's not Crouching Tiger? Oh, hold on.
Crouching Tiger is an adapted screenplay nominee at the Oscars.
Exactly. I just have to.
Oh.
I have to work through it. It's not
Oh!
either.
I think I know.
It's not Castaway. It's not Before Night Falls. Quills?
Quills is correct.
Fuck!
Wow.
This is no. Well, I mean, this is not like, hey, I know the answer. This was just like, let's go down the list of like everything we've talked about and everything from all the other categories.
Yes.
That movie had such a weird
It was
trajectory.
the National Board Review's Best Picture, and it was not nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars.
weird.
All right, so now we're at Rachel.
Oh, Lord help us all.
The Independent Spirit Awards, now known as the Film Independent Spirit Awards, were once again held the day before the Oscars. This year, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was the big winner, winning all 3 of its nominations: Best Picture, Best Director, and Supporting Actress. However, 3 films tied for the most nominations that year with 5. What were those 3 films? We've already mentioned them.
They've all already been mentioned on this podcast. And Crouching Tiger beat them. Okay.
Wait a minute. We've mentioned them all?
Yes,
I know 2 of them, I think.
I know at
So
least.
again, these 3 films all tied for the most nominations that year at the Independent Spirit Awards with 5 nominations.
I know 2 of them.
I know 2 of them for sure. You're looking on your phone.
I'm looking at our list we made that list in Twitter that was like all the movies from the year. That's exactly
Yeah.
As long as you're
That's
not
fair. That's
Sure.
fair.
the Wikipedia page.
You said you had your list in front of you.
I made it.
I mean,
It's my sweat and blood and tears.
Yeah.
this is like in our Twitter thread. We listed like all the movies that were from this year that we thought were good, besides the ones we had watched that were actually related to the Oscars.
Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock.
No. Is there a time limit?
I have a good hint for this.
Yeah,
For
what's
Rachel.
it?
If Alfonso will let me give it to her.
Go ahead.
There's no rules
There's
anymore.
3, right? There's 3.
There's 3.
Yeah.
2 of them got Oscar nominations. 1 did not get any.
Good hint.
Oh,
2 of
I think I
them
know the
got
3rd one.
nominations, but that means a nomination in like any category.
Any category.
Anything.
Not necessarily picture or whatever.
Correct.
Here's Erik's list of movies that were from 2000 that he liked, including The Cell and Love and Basketball.
Is that your guess?
We don't have time for this.
That's not my
Yeah, guess those 2.
All right, Rachel, make a guess.
guess. I don't know.
Matt?
Is one Requiem for a Dream?
Correct.
And I don't know the other one.
Oh yeah, we did
was
say
Pollock? Pollock? Did that get Spirit?
Nope. Cesco?
You can count on me.
You can count on me.
Did we talk about the 3rd one too?
Yes,
Yes.
we did.
Chuck and Buck?
Chuck and Buck.
Yeah!
Yes! Good job.
It was a process of exclusion.
Oh,
but
I
yeah.
should have done Requiem because we talked about how Burstyn won the indie.
That is like such an amazing Spirit Awards year.
I know.
Oh my God. Like one of the best ever. George Washington. We haven't even talk about a great debut. That movie's a masterpiece.
All right, so now we're at Matt. The National Board of Review's top 10 is usually a good indicator of films that are contending for Best Picture, but most don't make it all the way. This year, the NBR's top 10 included 2 Best Picture nominees and 6 other films that received Oscar nominations. 2 films on their top 10 received no Oscar nominations. What were they?
Do I get a hint at all?
Sure. 1 got Golden Globe nominations.
Oh.
Best in Show. Didn't that get Globe?
It did, but that is not the one I'm looking for. Cesco? There's 2 films.
Can you repeat the question?
So NBR's top 10 this year,
Okay.
8 films got Oscar nominations. 2 of
Okay.
them did not.
Okay.
And the hint that I gave was one of them got nominations at the Golden Globes, but not at the Oscars.
Fuck, what the fuck?
Love and Basketball and The Cell. For every question, that's the answer.
I hate it. I love it. I hate it. I think I know one.
When?
I looked it up since I'm out.
Yeah, but we go like all the way around, don't we?
Yeah, but
I started.
Yeah.
Oh!
There's no way someone's gonna get one of them.
Is
All
this
right.
the last question?
One. I know one.
We have two more after this one.
Oh, God.
Still a lot. Oh, wait, I'm forgetting the whole NBR part. Jesus Christ, I don't know. It's not even my turn.
Sunshine?
Sunshine. That's correct. From 2000, Isvan Sabo, which got 3 Golden Globe nominations. The other one's really hard.
What?
Can
Is
I
the
give
other one the first big role for like an actor that became famous afterwards?
Yes.
Is it Croupier?
Yes.
See, when I looked at the list, I've never even heard of that movie before.
Oh, I love Croupier.
It's Clive Owen's big break.
I know
Yeah.
Oh,
I never would have guessed either of those. I completely forgot about Sunshine existing.
He's in my list for best actor, like snubbed performances for the year.
Yeah, I remember that for Croupier. That was going to be, yeah. That's
I did
crazy.
earlier, so we would have remembered it.
Jesus, fuck.
Okay, so we started with Matt, so now Cesco.
Yeah.
Across the 4 major critic awards, NBR, New York Film Critics, Los Angeles, and National Society,
Yeah.
all of their acting winners received Oscar nominations except 2 supporting actresses. Who are they?
What? What is the question?
There are 2 supporting actresses that won at the Critic Awards that didn't get an Oscar nomination.
Okay.
Who are they?
Well, one is Lupe.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Who's the other one?
Kate Winslet?
Nope. Erik?
Elaine May.
Elaine May for Small Time.
It's Small Time Crooks.
She
She's
won
so good in
National
it.
Society Supporting Actress. So every critic award winner, acting critic award winner, got an Oscar nomination except the 2 of them.
Yeah.
So
Shenanigans.
Yes, especially for Elaine May's history. No offense to Lupe, who deserved one.
oh
but
yeah.
Elaine May's history should have gotten her in, and that was it's a great performance.
And
And
that was also during the time period where if you were an actress in a Woody Allen film, they were like, all right, come on, like
didn't Tracy Ullman get
Golden Globe nominated.
Golden Globe?
Yep.
Yeah.
This is the last question, and we're going to start with Erik. The Broadcast Film Critic Association, now known as the Critics' Choice Awards, also has a top 10. One of their films in the top 10 did not receive any Oscar nominations. What film was it?
Love and Basketball.
You're like fucking me up.
So this is the Critics' Choice, their top 10 for
Critics'
the
Choice
year.
top 10.
One of them did not receive any Oscar nominations.
Correct.
I'm trying to remember if this was before they really just focused on being Oscar predictors, but they've kind of always done that. Is it something we've talked about yet?
Yes, we have.
Can I phone a friend? No.
You got Croupier. That's amazing.
Yeah, I don't even know how that happened.
That's incredible.
Can I have another hint?
Ask the audience.
Ask the audience.
Can I have another hint?
The other hint,
Like a tiny one.
it was predicted to get Oscar nominations, but it didn't get any.
That doesn't help.
I know.
I think I know now. Maybe.
It was supposed to get an acting nomination.
Okay.
Oh, I know.
And it's something we talked about.
Yes.
And it did not get anything at all.
That's a good clue. We talked about it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to think of something left of center still for them. And something we talked
It's not
about.
that, you know.
Acting categories. Obviously, it's not Chuck and Buck.
I'm thinking about who we talked about in the snubbed actors department.
All right, just give me 1 second so I can backtrack. Not the contender, because that got in. Was it 13 Days?
Correct.
That was gonna be my guess too.
Jesus, fuck.
Good
That
job.
poor movie. They tried so hard.
Oh my God. I'm mad that I missed You Can Count on Me for the Indie Spirits, considering I just watched it an hour.
Yeah, but you wouldn't know that, like, literally just from watching it. So.
Yeah.
So our big winner of this was Cesco. Congratulations.
I won?
Yes.
You deserve to win with Croupier and Sunshine.
Yeah, Croupier Sunshine.
Holy
Bitch.
cannoli.
Goddamn.
I won.
You won.
Can you see it? Can you see it? Okay, I won. Thank you.
Give it to the lady behind you on your.
I know. You won one before she did.
That's true.
Oh, my God.
It's for you. It's
I
for you.
did talk about Gillian Anderson in The House of Mirth, which is also this year.
Yes, thank you, Jesus.
Amazing performance.
Yeah.
Any
Did
other
you watch her in
final
Streetcar?
Yes, I saw it live. So
Fuck you.
Yeah, I saw it live. So I didn't watch the stream because I actually saw it.
Oh, my God.
Was she not like unreal?
Her accent is so extreme and wonderfully over the top that you almost never hear her in it. And I love that. No, she's insane. She is so good. Everybody's really good. But I mean,
Cheating by looking at my phone before. I was looking at our list of movies that we'd mentioned, and House of Mirth was one that was on my list for 2000. So I just wanted.
Yeah, it's on the one that I made today, and like Battle Royale too, which was one of my absolute favorites of that year.
Oh my God, yes.
That's still top tier for me.
Yes.
And Maurice Peros was the beginning of
Yes.
Inarritu that year.
So 2001, you guys, Moulin Rouge. It's 10, 10, 10.
I'm excited for it.
I am too. Super excited.
So hopefully this will be the last time we ever have to think about Gladiator.
I'm okay with that.
Throw that away.
Not for another 10 years when it's like a 30-year retrospective of the year 2000. If we're even alive then.
Well, I want to thank all of you for joining us today. This was, I think, a lot of fun to just go down that road. I was super excited to create this trivia because I knew it was going to be tough for you guys.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be that hard.
Me neither.
I was like, let's shoot for the best, but you know what? You all did really well. So
It was good.
I got Life is Beautiful. That was my contribution.
You were fine.
You need to come with notes.
Yeah, I didn't do that. I will next time. I have like a few Post-its, but
I said in the tweet, I said, you guys got to study.
I know.
I have stats for the last 24 years because thank you, OCD. So yeah.
Well, that's when, I mean, that's how Rachel always did so well with this, because we would be the people that watched all the movies, and Rachel would watch nothing and only base it on stats.
And predict all the shorts correctly.
Yeah, when stats really had the power.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But in the past, like 10 years, I've made a commitment to try to watch at least all the nominees in the top 8.
You still haven't watched Umberto D.
Was that in the top 8 of the last 10 years? No, it was
Doesn't
not.
matter. It's in the top 10 of my life.
So there have been a couple that I've missed. This year I missed Ford v Ferrari because I just ran out of time, and
It's on HBO in a couple weeks.
I also really didn't care at all.
It's really, really, really good. I loved it. I thought it was really good.
But I feel my record of predicting stuff has rapidly declined with the preferential voting. I haven't gotten Best Picture right in like 7 years or something like that.
So our homework for the next time we meet up is to watch In the Mood for Love.
Yeah.
A lot of us haven't seen it, so we'll
It's short. It's really short.
It's amazing.
And you will see in that, and if you watch like other Wong Kar-wai, you will see a lot of
Moonlight.
the influences from Barry Jenkins in there. A
Yeah.
lot.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.